Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. It's a big story, so stay with me. About 12, 15 years ago, I developed a model for the evolution of the self, the being that you are. And I've been teaching it here and there and writing about it. And my niece has been on me, my niece Latoya, to share it with you. She's like, you gotta share it. It's perfect for these times. So it's a really simple model. In fact, it's extremely simple. We're all born as a me. Every baby is a me. We move up to a you, to an us, to what I call the I, we, and then the all. So let me explain. That baby is a me. Everything is about that baby. The baby sucks the energy out of everything because everything has to be focused on that me. The little baby can't change their own diaper. They can't get their own food. So everybody's going to give all attention to that me. My granddaughter's 4 now. When she was just born, we turned off all the televisions, everything. The music was for her. The sounds were for her. And even now, the television is for her. The sounds are for her. The more attention you give to that me as a baby, they are less likely to be a me as an adult. And everybody should go through this stage. It is a necessary stage. The more love you get, the more attention you get, the more everything is me, 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 me. And it's a necessary stage. It's necessary. Now, while it's a necessary stage, if you don't grow out of it, it becomes destructive. Psychologists call a me a narcissist. And that me is everything is still about them. Everything is about them. And let me tell you this. If the esteem is too high or too low, the results are still the same, because that person that's too low is like, well, why am I so sad? And why is this always happening? And why is this? And it's me, 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 me. We move from the me to what I call you. You is where that around 2 years old, they start to look around and start to share. Now, I read recently that sharing is actually an instinct, and I'm not sure about that, but I know that we all know to share and that we have to unlearn to not share. So when that 2-year-old is like, Mommy, Daddy, look, 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 they're trying to share what it is that they see. And what they learn to do as early as 2 is to figure you out. My granddaughter knew that if she wanted to get something from me, all she had to do was make me laugh. She knew if she wanted something from her father, she could make some music. And her mother really likes the pretty stuff, so she does the pretty girly stuff. She knew how to adjust her behavior to get others to do what she needed them to do for her. Sometimes when we outgrow that stage, or we live in that stage too long, we forget that doing for others is supposed to give something back to us, and we get stuck. And women very often get stuck as a you, where they're doing for everybody else and never doing for themselves. And I'll just throw this in on the side. A me will always find a you to marry. Around our teenage years, we move into what is called the us. And that's when we're looking for a group, our tribe, who we're going to marry, who we're going to hang out with, who's going to be my sorority, my fraternity, who's going to be my me group, my group of us. That behavior becomes destructive when we use it, as we're doing more recently, to become very divisive. So politics become us groups, and wearing a mask becomes an us group, or not wearing one. That these things that are supposed to bring us together can become a thing that divides us. The us exists because the self is social. We're a product of everything and everyone we ever come in contact with. And the more we come in contact with, the more we evolve. But when we get stuck in the one group and the one group identity, it happens in churches, it happens in clubs, that your identity, the individual's identity, is stuck in that group. When we move beyond that, we can become a part of all these groups that allow us to give us a sense of belonging. It's necessary. Self-esteem does not come from the self. It is for the self, but it comes from the people around us. Sometimes our esteem is low because the people around us actually are taking from our esteem. So in this group, in these us groups, we find ourselves. And when it's healthy, you can find yourself, but you leave that group and you take some of what you got from that group to the other groups. We move from there to what in South Africa is called Ubuntu. I am because we are. And this is really the healthiest place to be. This is why the mask wearing makes so much sense in this kind of climate, in this conversation, that when I take care of the I, I'm taking care of the we. When we're making masks, we say around here in my family, stay in your station. Everybody has a part to play, and it produces the whole. But we all know our individual place. We stay in our individual place so that it feeds the collective. The I feeds the we, and the we feeds the I. And that's a very healthy place for us to all live in. There's a place above that. I call it the all, because it gives attention to the all. This is not like All Lives Matter. This is Black Lives Matter. This is, you can say Black Lives Matter, because as Mother Teresa fed those people who were dying and just on their own and in the street, she gave all of her attention to that. And in caring for them, she was caring for the universe. It is that kind of thing where you give your all to, maybe it's the environment, maybe it's animal rescue, but you don't get so absorbed in that you can't see anything else. In fact, you see everything through that. Black Lives Matter because it gives you a way to see the rest of the universe and how everything else matters because it is connected to that. It's bigger than this, more than I can say in the amount of time that I have, but this happens at a sociological level, a psychosociological level, and then at a spiritual level, that there is the spark of the divine in each and every one of us. And as we evolve, that spark becomes brighter, illuminating a pathway for all to follow. I'll leave you with this on that one. Every morning when I come up here to make Mass, I pray the prayer that was attributed to St. Francis of Assisi, and it says, Lord, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that we may not so much seek to console, to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in the dying that we are born to eternal life. I am because we are. And as we move out of our me into a collective self where how I live my life affects my neighbor, and how I love myself enables me to love my neighbor, we begin to see that we really are one. I love you. I truly do.